In the following tutorial, we're going to take a look at the Credits titling tool. So I'm going to go to the New and choose New Title. Now it'll give me the presets that I like here, and I'll go ahead and give the name to it now, Credits, and hit OK. Now you'll notice that it shows me currently an image in the background. You're wondering, well, why does it show me that image? Well, the image that it shows me is based upon where my timeline tool is at the exact time. And you'll see as I move the timeline tool, you can barely see it over here. But you'll notice that it changes what this title tool is showing me at the same time. So of course, it might be a good idea for us to go to the end. So it's showing me that I have basically over nothing right now. And when you create your titles, you just need to look at the different settings that you have. You have the ability to use text, type on a path, and you can create the pen tool things, you can create rectangles, you can create all sorts of stuff in here. So speaking of your Photoshop graphic, you don't necessarily even have to use Photoshop to do some basic graphic titles. You can use the title tool just fine, but the problem is that when you use the titling tool, each title that you create would be a new layer on a sequence. So you don't get to import it like Photoshop, where you just import your Photoshop document and it's got all the layers there. You would have to create the layers individually in your titles. Make sense? So each individual title file would be a new layer in your animation. And then you just bring them in like any other footage. Anyway, I'm going to create some very simple credits. You'll notice that as soon as I start typing, it does have a default font, which is a little crazy right now. Happens to be, I guess, the first font that appears in the title tool. You can always try and find another font that works better for your uses. That Flamingo actually works pretty well. And it's a nice kind of fairly strong font without it being too strong. Now I also want to look at the color real quick, because I want to show you the default color is not actually white. And that's actually a very important thing. The color is off-white, and that is because there really isn't such a thing as true black or true white in video. The video color space doesn't really allow for you to have true white. Now, people use true white all the time in graphics, but those are usually people who don't know a whole lot about creating graphics for video yet. So you might see me going to white. I used white text before because I really just didn't want to worry about it. But if you look at the default, it's actually not white. It's actually a little bit under white. So that's just something to point out when it comes to creating graphics for video. So I'm going to go ahead and do a couple lines. Photos were from Flickr.com. They were from Google Image Search. They were from, where's another great place? India.com. And notice that I'm not really worrying a whole lot about the fact that all these things are really large, because I can fix some of that stuff later. I am going to change the font size. So I have some photos that are small, some that are large. Or some text, I'm sorry, that is small, and some text that's large. Now, notice this too. I've got a scroll bar here. Sometimes, if I go over to the scrolling options here, if I do roll, you'll notice that I get a scroll bar here. And that allows me to scroll up and down the text. So it actually allows me to edit the text. I didn't really do this in order to show you the roll options yet. I did this in order to show you how you don't have to always move your text up and down in order to get access to it. So the next part will be my audio, and I got that from Free Play Music. If I could spell music right, that'd be great. And let's see what else. India.com. Let's take a look at that. That's 57. That's 100. So I know that that needs to be 100 pixels. And these other ones are going to be 57 pixels. Or we'll just make it 60 pixels to make it a nice even number. So now I've got basically my credits done. And it is time to go back to the roll options and see what I have here. Now I've got 4 different ways that I can animate these, the text in here. Of course, still means that it won't animate at all. The roll means it will start from the bottom and roll up the screen like we're used to reading. You'll notice that there's a start off the screen and an end off the screen, and those are really quite nice to do. If you don't have those on, then you have the pre-roll here as well. And the pre-roll allows you to, say, start the text at the very top of the screen, or start at the bottom of the screen, or I can say my pre-roll should be 100 pixels. So it'll start like 100 pixels off the screen and come in. I'm going to go ahead and start off and end off, and I'm not going to worry about ease in and out right now. What that is to slow down how fast it's coming in. It speeds up a little bit and it slows down at the end. And of course, crawl left and right would be for those things like news tickers, where you have a big sentence where you want that sentence to be scrolling along the bottom. But these are credits, so that is pretty much the end of creating the credits. So this is the weird thing about using titles. All you have to do is close the title, and that's it being saved, which is a little different than other applications. Now I've got my credits there, and you'll see it shows up actually as a footage item, but if you double click on it, it opens up the title tool. I could drag it up into my footage window and then basically get a view of what it would look like. There's a problem there. You'll notice credits is off the page. So let me get up to the top here. I do need that to be on the page when it starts. So now it will start off the page. It'll come in, say credits, photos, audio, and then it will disappear off the page. And right now the default length is just like the default length of everything else, 5 seconds. And there it is in the program window. If you want to make your credits longer, just drag it out, and now it's slower. So using credits can be really, really easy. Now you need to extend your work area so it also incorporates your credits, because as I've added onto my main timeline, I need to make sure that my work area reflects that, so that now if I press the enter key, let me move this back to where it was. If I press the enter key, you'll see all it does is play the existing timeline. I need to incorporate the new region with my work area in order to press the enter key and have it render the previews. And now it's actually rendering the previews for the credits. So now what it's pulling in is the video from externally. Now I am ready to render my final project, which is what we'll do in the next video.